So in this video, I'm going to walk you through how I've used paid advertising to scale over 25 fitness studios, taking each one to 50 to 60,000 a month in revenue or more, and get thousands of fitness clients locally.
All right, so let's dive straight in. In this video, I'm going to walk through everything. I'm going to pull back the curtain and show you absolutely all of it. So we're going to go through the lead generation system, the appointment setting, how we get leads to show up to the appointments, how we close the appointments. Going to walk through the funnel. I'm even going to walk through the best performing ads right now. I'm going to show you a full ad script. Going to show you funnel pages, text message automations. The whole thing is right here. So for context though, if you don't know me, my name is Justin and I started running ads and putting this system together way back in 2011. So this was me right here in my first small studio. And the reason I put this video together is because there were probably so many gym owners and trainers like me back then who were hustling and grinding every day. I was pumping out organic content, relying on referrals and word of mouth, and it got me a few clients, but it wasn't really fast enough. It wasn't leverageable enough, and it wasn't helping me grow. So about this time is when Facebook ads came onto the market, and I tried them out. I was skeptical at first. I experimented putting $5 a day into ads, and after a bit of trial and error, I eventually figured it out, and I started to see what was working, what wasn't working. I did tests. Some got qualified leads, some got unqualified leads, and I started figuring out what kind of offers to run. I tested everything. I did 21-day offers, 6-week offers, 12-week offers, 1-week free trial, 2-week free trial. I did all of it back then. And I finally kind of started seeing what worked, and the system started coming together. And after that trial and error, I got my ads working properly, and I then filled this studio in a matter of months. Fast forward then to 2014, I then used this client acquisition system again to open a brand new facility, which is 3,000 square feet. And I opened it with 150 paying clients on day one. And there I am there. Now, the different thing about this gym was that I didn't do any of the coaching. At this point, I had outsourced myself to become a manager and studio leader. So I had my team in place, and I just focused on the lead generation and overseeing it. So we got 150 members on day one using this client acquisition system that I'm going to walk you through in the video. And we took that to 200 members. Then a bit later on, over in 2017, I then met my business partner, James, who's there, and we used this client acquisition system again to fill a new gym from scratch. We took that to a couple of hundred members, and then we decided to go all in on this. So we kept using the client acquisition system at the hub, and we scaled it to now 25 locations. And this is now a franchise and still growing new studios with this Meta Ads client acquisition system. This is how we get pretty much 98% of our clients on the front end. So this is working right now, and it's working for other gyms, other studio owners. I now install this system for gyms all over the world, exactly the way that we run it, and they're getting amazing success as well. So let's get into this. I'm going to start with like a big picture overview, and then we'll go deeper into each of these elements. So I call this the studio growth engine. All right, now here's how it all works. It starts with the Facebook lead ad. Okay, so Facebook ads are going to run on Facebook and Instagram, and you can expect to pay somewhere between $8 to $20 cost per lead, right? So when I first started running ads, we could get leads for about $1, right? And things were very different back then. But what I've seen after running ads for 12 years is that every year lead costs go up and up and up. And the reason that happens is very simple. It's because more competitors are opening in your area. More people are jumping on, more people have learned how to run a group training studio. More people are moving away from big box gym investments, and they're opening smaller boutique studios. So the more demand on Facebook to get your customers, the more Facebook are going to put the prices up. It's just like real estate, basically. So right now, currently, we are seeing an average of about $8 to $20 cost per lead. And the amazing thing about this system is this was built to combat rising lead costs. So I could see 12 years ago that every year the leads were getting more expensive. And I had to sit down a few years ago and say, what if lead costs keep going up? What if it goes to $20 a lead, $30, $40? How would we still grow? Would we make Facebook ads work in a different way? Or would we have to quit and go back to organic marketing and word of mouth? And I vowed never to go back to word of mouth and referrals as a main source of advertising, because you can't scale a business on that. So we said, we said, look, what's going to happen to our offer and our system so that even if a lead cost $50, how could we still make profit and grow? And that's what you're going to see in this video. So typically, again, we'll aim for a lead cost about $8 to $20. But even if you pay more than that, this system is still going to make you profit on the front end. So how it works is the lead is going to come in from Facebook. I'm going to show you the advert later on. They're going to book an appointment. So we want to book them in for an appointment at the gym. The reason for this is because when you book someone in for an appointment, number one, they're a way more qualified lead. Anyone can just pick up the phone. But if they come into your studio and make effort to come and visit you, they're definitely interested. Okay. And the other thing is, when you close somebody in person, you build up a lot more trust, a lot more rapport. You can answer objections better. And we found that we could charge double for the same package if we close in person versus over the phone. So a package that we would close for $200 over the phone, we would offer the exact same package in an in-person consult, and we would get the same number of sales at double the price, just because of the in-person trust nature. Now, you want to be looking for a minimum 40% booking rate. That means for every 10 leads who opt into Facebook, 4 or more should be booked in. Now, most gym owners are not able to get anywhere near that amount, and you're going to learn why in this video, and I'm going to show you exactly how we follow up and how we get a 40% plus booking rate. The next step is to get the lead to attend the appointment. So booking rate is number one, but now we have to get them to show up to the appointment. Now you want to have a minimum 50% attendance rate. So again, I'm going to show you exactly what we do to build the trust, build the value, so we get a consistently high show up rate. And that means you can just basically make your offer to more people. And then finally, you have the close of the sale. And we're going to walk through the sales system, but you should be looking for a minimum 60% close rate here. So this would be 60% of the people you speak with close onto a front-end program. The front-end program will be 4 to 6 weeks, and you need to be charging, I would say, a minimum $400 for that package. Most of the gyms we work with, we're selling $500, $600, some even charging $800, but $400 would be a minimum. And that $400 amount is going to help you easily liquidate your ad spend. But it doesn't stop there, because what we're now going to do to increase the LTV a bit more is when the client starts, they're going to be put into an onboarding meeting, one-on-one with a coach. And in the onboarding meeting, we offer an upsell of an additional product or service. Could be hybrid coaching, could be supplements. We'll talk about this in more depth later. But we're going to offer them this, and we have about 70% of our clients will upsell and pay us another $200 or more on top. So I'm going to show you later the right way to do this and how to get these sales. Step 5 then finally is ascension. So the client has come in on a 4 to 6 week introductory program. Now the goal is to get them into a long-term recurring subscription with us. And we typically get an average of 70% of the people who do our front-end program to join us long-term recurring. Okay, that's the real goal, is to build the recurring revenue. Okay, so you can think of this as an easy rule. It's a 40, 50, 60, 70% rule. 40% of your leads book, 50% show, 60% close, 70% upsell and stay. So if you hit those minimum metrics, your front end funnel is going to be profitable. And that's important because it means if you spend, $100 to acquire a customer, and then you make $500 back immediately on the sale here, and then you make another $200 here, and then you close them into $300 recurring, then you're putting $100 or $200 in, and you're getting close to $500 to $1,000 back within 30 days. And that means you can then use a chunk of that money, that profit, to reinvest and buy your next customers. So let's get into that straight away. So we'll go into it now in more detail, right? So there are 3 parts we break this into: lead generation and appointment setting, the show up and the sale, and then the fulfillment and the LTV ascension. So let's get into this right now. So lead generation and appointment setting. Okay, so you've probably heard what I just explained, sometimes called client financed acquisition. I like to call it a self-liquidating offer. Ultimately, it just means that whatever you spend on marketing or customer acquisition, if you can make back 2 to 3x that amount of money relatively quickly, you can scale. And that's the exact thing we've done to scale 25 locations. So this is going to be to cold traffic. So the offer needs to appeal to them. I've already talked about the offer. It needs to be 4 to 6 weeks, offer a specific outcome, and charge a minimum $400 to $600 for it. Okay, so we've got 2 things here. We've got to run ads to get the lead, and then we need to do the consultation setting or the appointment setting to get that lead booked onto a calendar. Okay, so let's talk about what's working here. So let's talk about ads. What's working right now are these 6 type of ads. Now, back in the old days, I've been running ads for 12 years, and 10 years ago, you could run 1 or 2 ads and they would collect leads for weeks and weeks and weeks. Now, though, we still get some ads that do that, but it's harder and harder because as there are more people now advertising, you have to do more to stand out. And what Facebook are rewarding right now, if you're an advertiser, is they want to see a creative variety. They want to see a high volume of ads, and they want to see a variety of different styles. So these are the 6 types of ads that we found are working best right now. And again, we're across all the ads that we run for all the different gyms. We're literally spending tens of thousands of dollars every single day on ads. So I can categorically tell you, after generating like hundreds of thousands of leads and thousands of clients, these are the ads working best right now. So we've got talking head video ads. This is just raw, unfiltered, you talking like a selfie video about your offer and what's included. They work pretty well because they look organic and it looks like an organic post. Ugly text ads have been working really well for us. So we started using these a couple of years ago, and I started making really ugly looking ads on Canva. It looked like a 6-year-old made them, but they started working extremely well because they grabbed the attention on the newsfeed. Big colors, big text, and then of course the person reads the ad, and that's where the ad qualifies them. But to grab attention, these work extremely well. Then you've got native ads. This just means like stuff you would usually post on social media, client stories, photos, B-roll clips, workout clips. Just think about stuff that you would show off in your gym day to day or post organically. A lot of those posts, when they look organic, they tend to perform better as adverts. So that's what we call native ads. Reel ads, we've developed a few formats for reels that work quite well. We've got AI enhanced ads. Okay, this might not be what you think. AI enhanced means that we're not using like fake people or anything like that. It just means that, for example, A good one that's working right now is if you take a photo of you outside your gym, right, and make sure the gym is visible in the background, we can then use AI to add a billboard or a banner on the side of your gym. So it's not really there, but if you have an empty wall, a blank wall on the side of your gym, with the AI, we'll add in a banner or a whiteboard, which will have the offer written on it. And it looks really impressive. And it's only added onto a real photo, so it doesn't look weird or anything like that. That works pretty well. And then design image ads. Now, design image ads means regular, like native ads or videos, but you overlay a bit of like Canva design or a couple of like headlines on there. You know, more traditional looking advert design. So those ads are working really well right now. Let me show you some real examples over here. So this is an ad account right now that we're running ads for. You can see, right, this was literally last month, July 2026, right? This is very recent. And we run and create all the ads for these guys. Now, these guys have 2 gyms. So you can see for the month of July, we ran 148 ads. So I said about I said about volume, right? You've got to test a load of ads. And basically for the month, we got 242 leads for an average of $10. So you can see, look, all our leads are in that $8 to $20 lead range that I mentioned earlier. Okay. Some go, up to $18, some come down to $6, right? But on average, we're looking at $10 a lead. So this was across 2 different gyms that these guys run. All right, so pretty even split. But you can see, guys, a lot of gym owners are complaining right now. They say their lead costs are really expensive. They're not getting good quality leads. But yet, here's the proof of just one ad account that we run. I can show you dozens and dozens like this that we're getting right now. And these leads convert into sales. And so this gym in particular, I think their return on ad spend last month was about a 3 to 4x. So they put about $2,500 in and they collected around $8,000 back front end cash, not including all the clients from this 1 month campaign that are going to become long-term recurring clients for them. Right, so one of their gyms just hit $80,000 in total revenue. They had the best month ever, and so you can see how that works. So let's break down. I wanted to break down one of the best ads. So I picked the one that had the highest amount of leads at the best lead cost. I think it was this one here, 35 leads at $8 each. This was like the best performing copy overall. And here's the copy. So let me do a breakdown so you can see why this works. So first of all, at the top here, we have a hook. You got to make sure that your hook is going to be specific. We target a particular gender, particular location, particular age, right? Don't just say women in my town. It's too broad. A little tip here, guys, is you want to target the top 10% of your niche. So if you're happy to work with, let's say, men 30 to 50, that's okay, right? But your ads need to talk to the best of the best customers. This is the first step in getting good quality leads. So if what I found is that the best leads are going to be 40 years and above. The 40-year-olds plus are going to be more like busy professionals, career people. They're going to have more disposable income. They're focused a lot more on getting their fitness and not just weight loss. I find that people in their 30s care about weight loss, but the people 40 plus also care about longevity, better health, lower stress, and they make much better customers overall. So call out that segment of the market. We have the first part here is like a contextual paragraph that resonates with the customer. We're going to talk about, hey, this is what your life looks like. These are the consequences. And you want to do something, but you might have this objection or this obstacle getting in your way. So their energy is lower, they're busy, they want to do something, but most gyms feel intimidating or built for people half their age. So you see how specific we're getting here in describing these ads. So we introduce the program. Notice the program is introduced about halfway down the advert. Most ads agencies and most gym owners make this big mistake in their ads. They start the advert with their offer, like, 6-week so-and-so. But that's talking about you. The prospect cares about themselves. So when you have ads that talk about them for the first chunk of the advert, you're going to reel a lot more people in. And now they're kind of engaged. Now you present your offer and they're more into it. Here, this section, we talk about what they're getting. Notice we don't just give features. Most gyms say 3 sessions a week. You get a meal plan. You get to use our amazing app, right? Nobody cares about that. You want to make sure you're expressing the benefits or the outcomes of what they get. So we say, hey, you're getting personal training tailored to your body, workouts that help you feel stronger, fitter, and more energized, right? Nutrition guidance that's simple with no dieting or calorie counting. We also make sure here this is a qualifier to say it's more than just about weight loss. It's about if you want to feel stronger, better, get confidence back. This is called an identity qualifier. And we don't just want people that only care about weight loss, because then you're competing with the GLP-1s and the weight loss jabs. As those things grow, people that care just about weight loss are going to go and get a jab. You can't compete with that. So what we found is we want to attract people that care, about weight loss. Everyone wants weight loss, but also about strength, longevity, health. Those are the customers that are going to be a lot better long term, and they invest longer term. At the end, then we have a call to action. This is going to say limitation. You've got to give people a reason to act now. Limited spaces, we start on Monday, that kind of thing. And here's a really important part of our advert that most agencies completely miss. We contextualize what's going to happen next. So we say, look, once you apply, one of our coaches will reach out for a quick call, and if it feels like the right thing, help you schedule a one-to-one consult at the studio. This is a really powerful part of our advert structure, because what most gym owners say is, like you've probably run ads before and you don't include any of this stuff. Then you try calling up the lead and they don't respond, or they want to know who is this? And that's because they didn't know you were going to call. The lead didn't have any expectation. So with us, if they read this, they know we're going to reach out, and therefore they're more receptive. And when we do call, they're like, oh yeah, I was expecting your call. So that's a quick run through of like one of the ad scripts. Okay, you can't just use this ad script. You have to use a bunch of variations, but this was the one that performed best last month for this gym. So with all that said, then you run the ads. Now you need to book the appointment, right? So the leads are coming in. What do you do now? So a few important things here. First, you're going to follow up within 5 minutes for the appointment setting call. Okay, we've looked at the data from hundreds of thousands of leads. If you want to get more leads responding, picking up the phone, you have to call in under 5 minutes. If you can't do that because you're busy with coaching sessions or whatever, that's cool. Just put somebody on the phone. It could be a brother, sister, nephew, a coach. Have them on the phone, give them the appointment setting script, and just by responding to the leads quickly in under 5 minutes, you'll get like a 10 times higher response rate. It's the biggest hack in the world. Then you want to make sure you're reaching out with personalized messages. So send out texts. We also send out emails. Send out, if people don't answer the phone, send out a personal video selfie, right, that references them by name. And, that'll go a long way, and they realize, oh, yeah, like this is for me. Now, what's really important here in our follow-up, we have a 5-day follow-up system built in with 20 to 30 touch points. So what this means is the lead opts in, and we're going to follow up until we've got them booked on the calendar. Now, studies have been done extensively on businesses that say that the most people respond or buy after 5 follow-up attempts. Yet the same studies show that the average business owner only follows up twice. And that's what I've seen with struggling gyms as well. So the gyms that are losing money on Facebook ads or can't get anywhere, they run ads, they get a lead, they call the lead once or text the lead once, maybe twice, and then they give up. And then they say, oh, the leads are not qualified, the leads are not good. When actually, no, it's your follow-up that's not good. We have a 20 to 30 touch point follow-up system. That's a combination of calls every day, text message, email, voicemail, videos. And yes, it sounds like a lot, but that's what you have to do to break through the noise because people are so busy today. And yeah, sure, maybe 1 or 2 people might opt out because they say this is too many messages. Cool, I don't care if 1 or 2 leads opt out because of that, but it helps me sign up 5 more clients and change their lives. I'm good with that trade-off. So think about it, right? If you're advertising in against one of the gyms in my town, and we have equal ads, we have an equal cost per lead, we both get a lead, you follow up with the lead twice and give up, but I follow up with that lead 20 times this week, who do you think is going to have the best chance of talking to that lead? Right? It's not the leads, you've got to work them harder. So just to show you what that looks like in the system. So we have like a high level system. So we track and we build all this for the gym owners too on high level. So we just import this kind of system that works for us. It's going to track where the lead came from. Was it a Facebook lead, a Google lead, an organic lead? And it's going to send you a notification. This is important. When a lead comes in, make sure your system sends a notification to you or your team member to say, hey, a lead just opted in, call them back ASAP. Sometimes you getting that text message allows you to get back to that lead faster, and then faster response time, higher booking rate. Okay, and after that then, this system is going to continue for 5 days with a mix of texts and emails. Those emails are going to give value, going to share case studies, share articles and tips, right? Don't just follow up with, when can we talk? When can we talk? When can we talk? You've got to be adding in value, right? So again, share links to a case study, share links to articles you've made or a podcast you recorded. Or a newspaper article that you were featured in to build your authority and trust, right? Do those things or YouTube videos maybe. And then you're going to get a lot more response. So where were we? All right. So you've done that now. You've done all that. And now you've booked the lead. Okay. So one other important thing we have, here's an example. Your automations and follow-ups can be sending the prospects to a booking page. So this is what the booking page looks like in our funnel. You want to make sure you have a video at the top. Okay, we script all this for gym owners, so we script the exact booking page video. We've tested this, and if you have your consultation calendar without a video for context, the booking rate is way lower. But if you put a video in explaining to them, here's the value of booking this, here's what you're going to get, whether you buy or not, then the conversion rate will be higher. All right. And then you can put some testimonials and stuff on there, and then they book. So once they've booked, then we now enter step 2, which is going to be the sales phase. There's 2 steps here. We need to get them to show up to the consultation, and then we need to close the consultation. So the show up part here, this is how we get 50% show up rates. The first thing they should see when they're booked on the calendar is going to be a thank you page, which has a video and other trust building assets. So again, let me show you what that looks like. This is the template here of a thank you page. So it says, congratulations, you've booked, now please watch. So we have one video at the top, which is going to confirm. We're going to kind of talk about like, hey, here's what to expect. if you can't make it, please let us know, stuff like that. And then below, we have a really powerful video called a how it works video. And what we do in this kind of 5-minute video is we outline the entire offer. So we're going to tell them everything. We tell the prospect, here's how the 6 weeks works. On week 1, we're going to do this. You're going to get an onboarding meeting. In week 2, you're going to get measurements, check-ins. Week 3, we're going to do a progress check-in, right? And we walk through every single week so that they understand, number 1, how much value they're getting, and number 2, what results they're going to have along the way. Now, what this video does is a couple of things. The first thing this video does, when you walk through the entire program with them, you've basically sold it to them without selling, right? So the first thing you've done is, the first thing the prospect thinks when they watch this video is, number 1, wow, this program looks amazing and it's definitely going to work to help me lose the 20 pounds. The second thing they're going to think is, wow, this can't be cheap. Right? So we don't give them the actual price because we're going to make a couple of different offers at the consultation. But if you show them the value of like how it breaks down so they can appreciate what you're giving to them and how they're going to use this program, they are going to assume this is not free, this is not cheap. And then when they still come to the appointment, they're going to expect that this is not going to be cheap. And that's going to go in your favor because closing a sale at a high price is going to be 10 times easier for you. We've pre-sold, and the more you pre-sell, the less you have to hard sell. And then below that on the page, you also want to have testimonials, Google Map link, FAQs. Again, any other content you have that would build trust and authority. So put case study videos on there. If you are featured in local newspapers, put all that on there. So the thank you page really does a good job of qualifying the lead and building up that value. And then one other cool thing we do is we have an RSVP or double confirmation system. So the night before all your appointments, call up the lead again and just do a double confirmation that they've got what they need, they've got directions for tomorrow, and that again will get your show up rate even higher. At the consultation itself then, all right, remember we're looking for a 70% close rate, or at least a 60% close rate of a $400 to $500 package, which the person coming in now knows all about. They know what the 6 weeks or the 4-week package is about. They know what they're getting. So you don't have to go through all that as much now. So few elements that make our sales consults work so well. Number 1 is the room setup. This is an easy hack. Make sure that your room is covered in social proof. Blow up all your best client before and after photos, put them on the wall. Any photos of your client social events, charity events, publish newspaper articles, awards, anything that makes your gym look good and cool, right? Make sure it's all on the walls so the prospect sitting down is looking at all this stuff, and then they're basically being sold subconsciously. Then we have the diagnostic phase. You're going to ask questions to the prospect to find out what are they looking for, what are they struggling with, basically where are they now and what is it costing them to be there. And then find out where they want to be. What goals do they have and what is it worth to them to achieve those goals. Then you're going to present your offer and the pricing. So we actually present 2 different offers just to be a bit more flexible. We have our 4 to 6 week front end offer, which is going to be $600-700, but also we have a drop down offer. So if we're struggling to close the $600, we can offer them another alternative way to get started, which is going to be more affordable. And basically what that is we just say, hey, if you don't want to do the 6 weeks because it costs a lot, we can get you started on our month-to-month program, which is $400 a month, but it has longer commitment. So if you're ready to commit for longer and achieve your goals, we can get started for lower. All right, so you give them the 2 options like that. In our experience, typically, if we make 10 sales in a week, then probably 7 of those sales would be for the front end offer, and about 3 of those sales, 30%, would be for straight into recurring. Either way is good, but I like to get the 6-week program up front because we collect more money, and that again makes sure that we liquidate all our ad spend. Then you have objections. Okay, if you have any objections you need to handle, we have all these scripted out because we've done thousands and thousands of sales consults right now. And then when the sale is made, you're going to begin the onboarding sequence. So let's look at fulfillment then. So this is what happens after the sale is made. So the first step here is going to be onboarding. Now, what we do here, the front end sale alone, if you're charging $400 or $500, is more than likely going to more than cover the cost of acquisition. So you might pay $200 to acquire a customer. You pay $200 in ads. You get a bunch of leads. You close one. You've now made $500 back. You spent $200. You made $500. There's $300 profit. That's great. But we go beyond that, and we want to raise the amount of money we collect in the first 4 to 6 weeks, so that we actually make closer to $1,000 or $1,500 per customer on average. This puts us then at like a 5 to 10x return on ad spend. So the way we do that is, number one, with onboarding. So like I said earlier, we're going to do an upsell in the onboarding meeting, something for about $200 average value that they add on top, and we get about 70% of our members taking this upsell. So again, what we do here is we simply diagnose for that client. We know they're going to do the workouts. We know they're going to come 3 times a week and get results. But what usually sabotages client results is what they do outside the workouts. So we want to help them look for gaps outside the sessions. And for a lot of our clients, they're busy professionals. They're working long hours. The biggest challenge for a lot of them is they don't have time to cook 3-4 times a day, and they struggle to get their protein requirements. So we then said to them, hey, well, do you want to take this supplement stack, which has, protein powder? You can have 1 or 2 protein shakes a day, get your protein easily. The protein powder also is like chocolate flavor. It tastes great, so they don't get any sugary cravings. And also we give them like a sleep stack and other supplements that they really like. So for us, that fixes a problem for 70% of our clients, and they pay us $200 extra for the supplement stack. So it's not about hard selling again, it's about diagnosing what areas of life your clients could use more help in, what might sabotage their results, and then fixing the problem for them. Depending on your type of client, it could be they need extra accountability check-ins. They might need more macro-based nutrition coaching. They might need more hormone optimization, TRT, menopause, right? It could be any of those things. It might be productivity, mindset, habit coaching. Everyone's a bit different, but find out what your clients need and what they're wanting to pay outside of your gym, and then offer it inside your gym. Very simple. We also introduce our referral program, so we start generating referrals from the very first meeting. Don't wait until your client is 6 months in to ask for a referral. That's crazy. Just ask for referrals from the very start and you'll get them. Fulfillment then throughout the 4 to 6 week program. Now, our results in our gyms, we've tested this with tens of thousands of clients now. In 6 weeks, we have a pretty much a result of they're going to lose 15 to 25 pounds and 3 to 5% body fat in 6 weeks. We have a 97% success rate of achieving this in our gyms. And this is with large group coaching, not one-to-one, large groups. So you definitely can get consistent results in large group training. Now, maybe your clients want different results. That's cool. You can ignore this, but make sure you know what kind of average results you should be getting for people, and make sure you're tracking everyone's results so you can make sure that your program is delivering what it said. And another tip on fulfillment through this front end program is make sure all your clients have some level of one-to-one accountability or coaching. So even if you're doing large groups or semi-private groups, we still make sure that the clients get one-to-one support. So that could be a one-to-one measurement every couple of weeks, or one-to-one check-ins with a coach. And then they do get that personal touch. And then we have ascension, or maximizing lifetime value. So we build in a week 3 and a week 6 meeting into our 6-week structure. And this is where we give the invitation to that client to become a long-term recurring customer. So typically we ascend at least 70% of these front-end people into a long-term program. And that means that your front-end program is delivering results, delivering good experience, and they want to keep going. So when you implement all these things together, what typically happens is that we close the $500 sale, then we get upsells, we possibly get a referral, and then you get an ascension into a long-term contract. Basically, what this does, it takes your average LTV to around $1,500 or more per average client in the first 6 weeks. So remember, when we spend $200 on ads to acquire a customer, not only are we making back more than that on the first transaction, but when you add in these extra steps, you can be making $600, $1,000, $1,500 from that customer in the first 30 days. And you want to front load and make as much cash in that first 30 days per customer, because that means then you can scale your ads even more aggressively. So there you have it, guys. I think I've covered most things here. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. But that's the full system, and we implement this. We install this entire system into gyms and studios right now. We're getting crazy results. If you want help doing that, you can reach out to me. We can schedule a quick call, and I'll just find out more about your gym in particular, and I can show you what this system would look like if we customize it for you.